Welcome to the Commander Crew, a Magic the Gathering Commander YouTube channel where we ask the question, who's your commander?
We want to thank you for watching our videos. You can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell notification icon.
You can also go to thecommandercrew.com to check out our t-shirts, masks, pet hoodies, and other Commander Crew goodies.
If you want to buy any of the cards seen in this video, be sure to click our TCG player affiliate link in the show notes below.
Lastly, you can help us out by heading to our official Patreon page and becoming a direct supporter of the channel. Now let's
get to the video.
Oh no.
What is up, everybody? It is Chris from the Commander Crew coming out with another Commander Quick Take, that Strixhaven snapshot. On this time, we have Quintorius, a field historian, a 3 Boros, 2/4 elephant cleric. Oh, I'm pretty excited for this card. It reads, Spirits, you control get +1/+0, and also, whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit token. At first glance, I'm like, okay, what are they doing to Boros? Like, this is pretty insane that Boros is out of the blue and I'm getting like some graveyard shenanigans. Like, where did that come from? And it's got multiple abilities in this card, and it's a 2/4, so it's got a good body on it too. So far, that first ability, Spirits you control get +1/+0, so you can go Spirit Tribal, you have that option, because basically it's synergized with itself. Because whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white Spirit token. They don't have flying, but automatically they're going to become 4/2s, and from one or more cards leaving, getting a 4/2 body is pretty insane. At first glance, I'm like, let's play with the graveyard. Let's mill some cards out. Let's get some stuff into our graveyard, and let's just have some fun with the graveyard and see what happens. Generally, Boros does not play with the graveyard whatsoever. Every now and then, they'll have a couple of cards have some recursion, but if you're playing Boros, you're not playing that at all. So I'm pretty excited to see how Quintorius Field Historian is going to play out, because they're doing things now that Boros could never do before, and I'm absolutely super excited for this. Now let's go over some of the cards I would put in the deck right away, because at first glance, you're like, what do I do? These are the cards that I'd put into the deck. In all honesty, some of the cards that have been spoiled from the new set are pretty much some of the first cards I want to put into this deck. Lowerhold Excavation for Boros. Beginning of your end step, you get to mill a card, and if it's a land this way, you gain 1 life, otherwise you do 1 damage to each opponent, and pay 5, exile a creature and create a spirit. So basically you can double trigger on your commander. Return Pest Caller, 3 red, double red white, or white for a Spirit Cleric 4/2. When it enters the battlefield, return target Spirit, instant, or sorcery. So you get Recursion from that right there, so you get 2 bodies for 1. Radiant Scroll Wielder, 2 in Boros for a 2/4. Instants and sorceries you control have lifelink. I haven't seen that ability in forever, and it's actually a wicked strong ability. And at the beginning of your upkeep, exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. You're going to have tons in there. You may cast this turn, and if you do, put it in the graveyard, you gotta exile it. So basically you get to use multiple spells multiple times. That's pretty awesome. And then Stonebound Mentor for 1 in Boros for a 3/3. And whenever you 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, scry 1. So you get some top deck manipulation too. That's pretty awesome. These new cards are definitely gonna put in some work, so they're definitely cards you want to consider putting into the deck right away, because they have a lot of interaction with your commander and with your graveyard. So it definitely is like a 2-for-1 almost. Then after that, you're going to want to find some more recursion, because the more recursion you get, the more value you're going to get. We have Revelark, 4 and a white for a 4/3 element. For when it leaves the battlefield, return up to 2 creature cards from your power, 2 or less from your graveyard to the field. And it has the evoke cost. Karmic Guy, 3 white for a 2/2, pro black, but also when it enters, you return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, we all know these two work together, have some pretty awesome infinite combos. We're not really focusing on that, but these 2 cards alone are going to give a lot of value with our commander. Then we have Sun Titan for 4 double white 6/6. When it enters or even attacks, you return target permanent card with CMC 3 or less from the graveyard to the field. And the Custodious Soulcaller, which is a card I never really had heard of before. It's 1 white for a 1/2 human cleric with melee. Whenever it attacks, return target creature card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the field, where X is the number of players you attack with a creature this combat. So basically with this card, you got to get even more recursion. The more you recur with the deck, the more value you're going to receive with your commander, and the more overall board set you're going to create. Then we're going to want to cast spells that we can cast and then cast later on from our graveyard. With that, we're going to have the ability called Retrace, where basically we're able to play the card from the graveyard by discarding a land in addition to paying its cost. Waves of Aggression, 3 Boros, gets you additional combat step. Reality Scramble, 2 red, basically gets some chaos going on. And Throes of Chaos, 3 in a red, basically just a very simple card, Cascade. That alone can be pretty awesome. And then later on, we can cast these cards multiple times, getting even more value. Down the line, when we have those lands that we no longer need to play, and we have extra value, we can play these cards from our graveyard multiple times, allowing us to get multiple combats, multiple permanents, and multiple cascade effects in a single turn, and even get more value with our commander. And then we have an awesome ability out of one of recent sets, which is called Escape. Escape you can trigger multiple times, depending on how many cards are in your graveyard, and that alone is pretty insane. Underworld Breach for 1 and a red. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. You can basically escape so many things at a single time, and you're gonna get so much value off this one card alone. Phoenix of Ash, 1 red for a flying haste Phoenix, but you can escape it for the 2 red. Ox of Agonis, 3 red. Basically, when it enters the battlefield, you discard your hand and draw 3 cards, but you can escape for double red. And with this, you can basically refill your entire hand after emptying it. And then Sentinel's Eyes for a single white, where enchanted creature gets +1/+1 in vigilance, and it allows to only escape for a single white mana. The benefit of paying escape is you can do it multiple times. You don't have to worry about exiling the card afterward because you can keep casting it over and over and over again. I think that's pretty a cool ability. So basically, in the fact, with your commander, you got to get multiple triggers of value off of a single card. And even with Underworld Breach only going for a single turn, you can get so much value with your commander. Then there's cards with Flashback. Flashback is a pretty straightforward ability because it allows you to cast things twice. Faithless Looting for a single red, draw 2, then discard 2 with Flashback 2 and a red. And then Increase in Devotion for 3 white, where you create 5 white human creatures, but if it was cast in the graveyard, you create 10 of those. And it's got Flashback for 7 white. With the Flashback, you do have to exile it after it, but you got to get so much value by being able to cast these spells more than once and getting even more value with your commander. And then I would add 3 cards just to give a little more extra value, where you have Scrabbling Claws, Soul Guide Lantern, and Phyrexian Furnace, all costing a single colorless, where it allows you to remove a single card from the graveyard from the game, which basically gives you an extra 3/2 body every single time you do this. And each of them will also remove a single card on top of drawing a card if you remove the card itself. With these cards, you're basically, for a single mana, you can keep getting a bunch of 3/2 bodies over and over and over again, depending on how many cards are in your graveyard. And when you're all set, they can recoup themselves by drawing a card afterwards. These are pretty awesome cards. Now, secondly, I'd probably want to go with like an overall token build because it does have that ability on this card itself. Mimic Vac for 3, imprint. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you may exile that card. If you do, return each other card exiled with Mimic Vac to its owner's graveyard. Pay 3 and tap it. Create a token that's a copy of a card exiled with Mimic Vac. It gains haste and then exile it. This allows you to get 2 triggers off of our commander. Intangible Version for 1 and a white. Creature tokens you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. This makes our bodies even bigger. And then Field of Souls for 2 white. Whenever a non-token creature is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, you put a 1/1 spirit onto the battlefield with flying. Basically, it just gives our board state even more value. And that's my overall first impression of Quintorius, Field Historian. I am absolutely super excited for the fact that Lorehold in Strixhaven is giving Boros a new name for itself. For the longest time, Boros has been considered one of the weakest overall color choices in Commander, and I'm not a fan of that. And I'm so excited to see that Boros is finally getting the word that it needs to believe in. With Quintorius, Field of Historian, you're creating a new ability that we really haven't seen in the past, and it gives a whole new plethora of what you can do to build this overall deck. I am super excited for this. Thanks for watching my first impressions and the first overall cards I put in with this deck. And please remember to hit that bell notification, like button, and subscribe button because it helps out a lot. Again, my name is Chris from the Commander Crew. This has been a Strixhaven Snapshot with Quintorius, Field Historian. Thanks for watching. Peace.